We just witnessed the most terrifying thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers and undoubtedly the biggest game of the year. The Steelers not only come out and send an absolutely serious message to the rest of the NFL, but they do it on the back of a ton of different players, but primarily their defense. But we also saw Jaylen Ramsey get ejected. Folks, there's a ton to go over today, but regardless, this was the biggest win of the year. But there are certain aspects of this game that nobody is talking about that have huge implications going forward. We'll break all that down in this episode, including some updates. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel and you're enjoying the Steelers' huge win today, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Folks, what a win and what a game. Heading into this game, you're looking at either going up 3 games in the Bengals or falling down to just 1 game up with Joe Burrow nearing a return. And they come out, and it wasn't the cleanest game at the start, but they come out early. They send a serious message. And we witnessed what this team is capable of when they play great. Now, there's a ton of things to go over in this one. Let's go through some housekeeping stuff before we get into some of the crazier things. Aaron Rodgers dealing with some sort of wrist/hand injury, I believe on his left wrist, and he finished the game 9 for 15 with 116 yards, good for 1 touchdown to Kenneth Gainwell. And we'll have more updates, I'm sure, on Aaron Rodgers coming very soon, and we'll update you on the channel. But Mason Rudolph steps in, and he does very good. And we're going to dive into all of it here, but this was a game where, the run game wasn't used a ton. It was mainly Kenneth Gainwell receiving, which was crazy. He didn't have a receiving touchdown at all heading into this year. But this team, man, a lot of ups and downs. The offense was short. It's coming off of a brutal offensive performance against the Chargers. And they come out today and they put up over 30 points, primarily because of their defense. But Kenneth Gainwell with 7 receptions for 81 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. You have Darnell Washington steamrolling, and I mean steamrolling through players. And of course, it all came when Aaron Rodgers left at half and never came back out. He never came out of the locker room. So that's a little bit scary. Again, we'll hear updates on him, but Mason Rudolph did his job, right? And at the end of the day, he got it done. And the offense almost looked better with Rudolph out there. But shout out to Darnell Washington. Got some crucial first downs, steamrolling 3 players straight. He is a crucial part of this offense. But this was another game where DK Metcalf didn't really go crazy. He had 49 yards, a really good catch taken away by a BS offensive pass interference call. But I digress. What a game from the offense. You have to take it. It wasn't fantastic. Only 232 total passing yards, a ton of rushing yards, of course. But let's dive into the storyline of this game, and that is the defense. Now, it all started with Kyle Duggar getting a pick 6 on 3rd down and took it 74 yards to the house, and this was the huge game changer in this game because heading into it, this was an offensive stalemate for a while. I mean, obviously the Bengals, they've been averaging over 40 points a game. The Steelers defense, that's what's horrifying for other teams, and I know you guys are probably saying, I know a lot of you guys dislike Mike Tomlin, all these different things. I'm just going to take the positive approach for this game because it was really good. And the defense played well, and yes, they're not a great Bengals team overall, right? But their offense under Joe Flacco has been absolutely electric, one of the best in football, and you come out and you get a huge pick 6 by Kyle Duggar, who looked fantastic. And we're going to dive into the Jaylen Ramsey ejection here shortly, but prior to the ejection, the 2 safeties looked dominant. Jaylen Ramsey, dominant. Kyle Duggar, dominant. They held Ja'Marr Chase to under 50 yards. I believe it's a terrible game for Ja'Marr Chase, and that's what your goal was heading into this game, and it's truly special. And this game, that is, of course, Ja'Marr Chase. I'm gonna double check here. Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase was held to 30 yards receiving, which is obviously, I didn't know the exact number, but that's not great. And you look at the defense as a whole here, you had everybody step up, whether that be Jaylen Ramsey, whether that be Jabril Peppers, but Kyle Duggar, Malik Harrison with a couple of good tackles. I mean, we have to give credit to Joey Porter Jr. where it's due, and the refs were weird for both sides. I'd say the Steelers probably benefited a little bit more, but you have, Joey Porter Jr. locking up Ja'Marr Chase. You have James Pierre, who got an interception and ended up scoring a touchdown. Just fantastic. And James Pierre's a guy who we know Mike Tomlin's a big fan of. He came out and said that they want to give him more opportunities, and they slid him in there instead of at the cornerback position. They didn't go with Asante Samuel Jr. They obviously have Marquez Valdes-Scantling, the wide receiver, out as well. And James Pierre filling in, but it's just the next man up mentality, whether that be Malik Harrison, who I talked about, whether that be Joey Porter Jr. now, who's thrown into the cornerback 1 role. It is huge. I'm super excited. James Pierre, you love to see, especially with his story. It was great. And this wasn't a game where, the defense was bad. It was absolutely fantastic. And yes, Joey Porter was great. It sucks Jaylen Ramsey got ejected because he was having a really good game. Again, Kyle Duggar with the pick six, Chris Boswell in the wind going flawless, and overall, just really, really good game. Now, let's touch on some of the things here. So, we know, you can see here, Jaylen Ramsey threw a punch on 4th and 1. I mean, it was back-to-back, on Sports and Likes. It gave the Bengals a free first down. It got him ejected. Him and Chase were going into it. Ramsey probably shouldn't have got the first one. The second one, it seemed like Jamar Chase spit on Ramsey's face, and then Ramsey grabbed his face mask, and punched him once. Hopefully there's no further consequences for next game, no suspensions, because people were livid, right? Saying immature by Jaylen Ramsey, irresponsible. It seemed like, according to multiple angles, that Jamar Chase spit on Ramsey, which, again, you got to try to keep your cool, but I love the competitive nature. Not throwing punches, that you shouldn't do that. It almost cost their team a win, right? Or at least, a touchdown. They got out of it without giving up any points, I believe. I don't even think it was a field goal out of that. But the point of it is Ramsey looked really good, and I don't want this brutal incident to take away from the fact that he looks great at free safety. He looks fantastic. You have him paired with Kyle Duggar, and the defense just looks completely different. The offense still could use a little bit of work, but they were flowing under Mason Rudolph. Rudolph standing tall in the pocket, threw for a touchdown, looked pretty composed. Obviously had some, couple delay of games and just some misreads with DK Metcalf. He obviously hasn't had the time to build the chemistry with DK Metcalf. But part of the reason this offense looks so good is because Mason Rudolph obviously was drafted by the Steelers in the 3rd round, had his rookie year here. He's familiar with the system under Mike Tomlin. He's been his coach for his entire Steelers career. He's familiar with the system under Arthur Smith. And for him to be able to come in and step in, the offense, I don't want to say looked better with him than Aaron Rodgers, but it kind of did. Aaron Rodgers, you can see the passer ratings, 118.5 versus 106.5. Rodgers didn't look great. He was clearly bothered by his injury, but also clearly bothered by the wind, first and foremost. So, interesting. Now, something else. We saw that Jaylen Warren went down with an injury. He ultimately came back, but we saw some rushes from Caleb Johnson, the rookie, and he looked okay. Almost had a really nice run, but ultimately got tagged for a face mask. But regardless, right? I'm happy with the way things went. And huge shout out to Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, he was the man of the hour. He got the 2 touchdowns. The defense deserves all the praise in the world. And I also, before I forget, I want to give huge shout out to Nick Herbig. Now, you can see here, this is from yesterday's video, people talking about trading Alex Highsmith, all these different things. Nick Herbig, in replacement of Alex Highsmith, looked unbelievable. Like, he looked really good. He had a penalty early, and that was a little bit sketchy, but he looked great. Truly. Looked really, really good. And the people are starting to step up. Patrick Queen, a little bit rough, a bit of a disaster game, but Ramsey looked good. Porter looked good. I mean, James Pierre looked good. Everybody looked absolutely great on the defensive side of things. You even had to have Chuck Clark come in because of Jaylen Ramsey getting ejected. Brandon Eccles came in. He did a good job as well. Peyton Wilson, everybody. The team won, and they just had a serious message to the rest of the NFL as they approach their game next Sunday against the Bears. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are absolute beasts. See you later. Cheers.